It's just a fanfiction, a story written by me, writer. This has nothing to do with mentioned ideal BTS members, real-life event, behavior or characteristics. Pics, sound, videos which are used in this video are not mine. Credit goes to rightful owners. But the editing and the storyline is mine. Do not copy it. I have written the story almost 2 years ago, so it's cringy. You have been warned beforehand. Sitting in the office, 2 women were talking while working. Do you know why? The said women looked at the other. What, Rain? That our company is sold to someone and there will be a new CEO from tomorrow? Yeah, I know, Millie told me. She also told me our management has decided that I will be the new CEO's assistant. That's nice. But don't you think this will be very tiring for you rather than being a normal employee, considering the fact that you are 5 months along? I know, but I have to. The pay is double than I am getting now. Plus, I have worked hard also. And you know, right, in your company, maternity leave is only for 6 months. So, if I need to stay home with my baby more than that time period, I would have to leave this job. So, I need to be financially prepared beforehand. I can understand being a single mother is not easy. Don't hesitate to ask help from me though. I would love to spoil your child. Yeah, why not? Smiling, they both resumed their walk. At night, Vine's house. Such a tiring day. You know, baby, today was so hectic. But I have finished all the pending work. From tomorrow, I will be doing a new project with new CEO. Resting on her bed, Vine murmured while her feet were dipped in lukewarm salted water. Nowadays, it gave her the relaxation she needed after a long day at work. Her eyes were closed, savoring the relaxation that lukewarm salted water gave her. At that time, she cannot help but remember the time she spent with her lover. A couple dressed elegantly sat on either side of the restaurant table, tossed the wine glass while saying happy anniversary. I can't wait to get married to you. A giggle left her mouth hearing him. Is that so? Then, mister, have you thought how many kids we're gonna have? Obviously, I have thought it. We are not gonna stop before 5 kids. Her mouth fell open hearing him. What? 5 kids? You do also think it's let's ride? Me too. You are impossible, crazy. Only for you though. Both burst into laughter. Vine's thoughts were interrupted when she felt a slight movement in her belly along with a dull pain. She smiled, knowing very well the cause of it. She placed her palm on her baby bump and said, Now someone doesn't seem to like sharing their mother's attention, huh? Don't worry, my precious. Mom will love you unconditionally always. Is everything ready for tomorrow? Yes, sir, everything. He cut the call and looked in front of him while twisting his palms. I need answers, Ryan. I need answers from you for leaving me 6 months ago just with a note saying you fell out of love. I need answers as in what went wrong, where I went wrong. You can't just walk on me like that. Next day. Ryan was entering her office while shying heavily. Today she came very late. If she was even 1 minute late, then there would be a red mark beside her name on register. She was about to sit on her desk, but Rain came towards her while saying, "Oh, Ryan, you came at the right time. The new CEO is now calling for his secretary. He is in his cabin. Go fast." Okay, Rain. She nodded and went to the CEO's cabin. Ryan reached the cabin and pushed the already open door while saying, "You have called me, sir." Her words got stuck in her throat, seeing the person sitting on the CEO's chair, the person whom she thought she wouldn't be seeing anymore. "Why are you standing there, Miss Lee? Come inside," he said while looking through a file. Her grip on the doorknob tightened as she felt a little overwhelmed. He, that moment, closed the file he was seeing and looked at her face. "Come inside, Miss Lee." She heard his cold voice and somehow collected herself. She then went inside and bowed at him. "Morning, sir." He nodded while his eyes roamed at her whole self. "Do you think you can be my secretary, Miss Lee?" "Of course, sir. Why do you ask though?" "'Cause your conditions seem to tell otherwise, miss. You should go back being usual desk employee." "I have worked hard for this opportunity, sir. I can assure you I can do this job very efficiently. If you say so, miss. But mind you, I won't tolerate any delay of work or go easy on you just because you are pregnant. I hope to get my work done." "I understand, sir." "Good. Now schedule my meetings for tomorrow and tell me about recent projects." What would do rather than being a sage? Ha, liar. Can't even eat vegetarian food for one day and would be a sage. "You underestimate me, my lady. I can't even leave my pride for you." Wayne took the pillow and started to hit him while laughing. Are you a child or what? Standing in the balcony while it's raining? Don't you know how severe it becomes once you catch cold? He scolded her as he was towel drying while his ears was pouting. Why did you even order spicy food if you can't handle it? She rolled her eyes as she saw him gulping milk after having half of his spicy ramen. He sheepishly smiled at her. Need to level up my spice tolerance, right? Unless how would you enjoy meal with me from the same plate? Aish, this cheesy boy. She wrapped her arms around her baby bum and cried more while caressing it. Few days later. Sir, Mr. Waste wants to reschedule his appointment with you, and this is the file you asked me to bring. She handed over the giving new appointment if I am free. But Miss Lee, I called you almost 10 minutes ago. Ryan looked down at his cold voice. It's been few days since they were working together, and true to his words, he was very professional with her. He was behaving very cold with her, which made her eyes welled up. Sir, I was at the washroom. Again? Aren't you said this 1 hour ago also? Sir, due to my condition, I need to use it more often. But it's too time consuming, miss. You know what? Just ship to my cabin. Sorry, sir, come again? I hate wasting time by repeating words. I mean to say, sir, why? It's already a waste of time for you to come to my cabin faster. Also, your frequent washroom breaks. I need to make up for the time somehow, right? So sit here from today onwards. But sir, what would other employees think? I have another option for you too, miss. How getting fired sounds to you? I would bring my things here also then. Someone to arrange a desk for me. Adequate. She bowed at him and left from there. He left a sigh and rested his hand on the chair while running his palms through his face. While sitting behind their respective desks. Occasionally, low groans were leaving her mouth due to backache. Though he didn't talk to her nicely or glanced at her softly from the past few days, he noticed how her back was aching. He still felt pain hearing her low groans. He noticed how she would slowly get up from her seat, how she had set alarms for drinking sufficient water, how she massaged her lower back and thighs while doing her work to lessen her pain. Miss Lee, you can go home now, he said while getting up from his seat after closing the file he was checking. Startled by his sudden voice, she looked at him. But sir, there are still office hours left. I have some personal work today, so I'm leaving early. so you can rest of today's work at your home. Saying this, he left from there without giving her a chance to say anything. She then smiled a little while caressing her baby bump. Now we can walk while resting on our cozy bed. Aren't you happy for Mama, baby? She received a kick in response, making her giggle. Let's go home then. Standing at the parking area, Vian looked at the heavily pouring rain. Due to this, she wasn't getting any cab. She had to stay at office for more than her known office colleagues, so there wasn't anyone she could ask to drop her home. Please God, help me to get a cab. I am very hungry. Her eyes filled with tears. Miss Lee, why are you standing there? She looked at the source of the voice and found, Sir, there's no cab. He looked at her, whose hairs were messy and eyes teary. I can drop you home. He looked away from her. Unless you want to wait for another man. He gritted his teeth as he said that. She was so busy thinking about her medicines and food that she didn't hear his last words. He placed her palm on her belly and said, It would be too much helpful if you drop me home, sir. Sit in the car then. The car ride was silent, only the sound of heavily pouring rain could be heard. Through the corner of his eyes, he noticed how she curled up by the car window while closing her eyes tightly. She had cupped her baby bump on one hand while with the other she kept massaging her lower back and thighs. Oh, how he wished just to hold her in his arms and say sweet nothings to her ears. But he restrained himself. Instead, he was just driving slowly. He had so many questions in his mind and so many queries. He wanted to confront her, demand the answers, but every time he kept quiet. He kept quiet, seeing her hissing in pain, seeing her exhausted face, just like now. He couldn't bring himself to be another cause of her exhaustion. He asked her address and soon they reached Vian's home. That time the rain was also pouring very less. We have reached home, Vian. Miss Lee, thank you, sir. She bowed at him and climbed down the car. He took the car back and U-turned it. He was about to leave the place when he noticed something sparkly on the car seat where she was sitting a while ago. He looked closely and found the pendant. He took it in his hand and climbed down the car. While heading towards her, he was about to call her, but he saw her in the arms of another man. He fisted his palm as rage filled in him. The car ride was silent. Only the sound of the heavy pouring rain could be heard. Through the corner of his eyes, he noticed how she was curled up by the car window while closing her eyes tightly. She cupped her baby bump on one hand while with the other she kept massaging her lower back and thighs. How he wished just to hold her in his arms and say sweet nothings to her ears. But he restrained himself instead. He was just driving slowly. He had so many questions in his mind, so many queries. He wanted to confront her, demand the answers, but every time he kept quiet. He kept quiet, seeing her hissing in pain, seeing her exhausted face, just like now. He couldn't bring himself to be another cause of her exhaustion. He asked her address and soon they reached Ryan's home. That time the rain was also pouring very less. We have reached. Why, Miss Lee? Thank you, sir. She bowed at him and climbed down the car. He took the car back and U-turned it. He was about to leave the place when he noticed something sparkly on the car seat where she was sitting a while ago. He looked closely and found a pendant. He took it in his hand and climbed down the car. While heading towards her, he was about to call her, but he saw her in arms of another man. He fisted his palms as Drake felt in him. You shouldn't disturb their moment. He hurriedly got in his car and left from there. Before he could do something he would regret his whole life. Oh, Ryan, walk carefully. You were about to fall, said the man who held the woman by her arms. Ryan gave her neighbor an embarrassed smile. Jack, I was in a hurry to go home, that's why. I guess so, but the floor is too much slippery due to rain. Let me help you through your walk. It's okay, I can manage. You were going somewhere? Nonsense. Let me drop you at your doorstep. No, it's okay, Jack, you go. Jack didn't insist anymore. I went from there, saying a small take care. Next day at office. Office despite him not getting an ounce of sleep last night. As the phrase goes, the show must go on. As he walked into the office, he found the floor a bit slippery. He assumed it was because of the floor cleaner. He mentally took note to notify the person who's in charge of cleaning to clean the floor, making it less wet. He was about to enter his cabin after being bowed by the other employees, but stopped hearing a loud scream from a familiar voice. With tremendously beating heart, he turned around to look at the source of the screaming. Please don't be her. His breath got stuck in his throat as he saw Ryan sitting on the floor while taking deep breaths. There's chaos around her as she fell on the floor due to its being slippery. Ryan! He immediately went towards her and held her without thinking about the other people. She was practically shaking back then. Nothing bad gonna happen to me. Somebody help me to get her into the car. Seeing Seeing her tears and hearing her painful voice, he didn't want to wait for ambulance and took her to hospital with the help of two other employees. Sitting outside the emergency was worrying about Wagon. Her panicking voice and the way she wasn't letting go of his hands were still haunting him. "Sir, would you like to have a cup of coffee?" At the source of the voice and found his employee named Rain, who was also a friend to Wagon. His head. "You go, Miss Rain." Nodding her head, she was about to go towards the hospital canteen, but stopped seeing the doctor approaching them. Immediately sat up, seeing the doctor. "How's she, Doc?" "Thankfully, there isn't any broken bone, but she sprained her ankle very badly on both legs." "How's the baby?" As she fell on her butt, her pelvis got some damage. She might not deliver the baby via normal labor. Other than that, the baby seemed to be fine. From now on, she should be strictly on full bed rest till delivery. I hope you are understanding. Saying this, he went from there. Thank God, nothing worse happened. Hearing her, he then saw her heading towards Wayan's room instead of canteen. That time, like a thunderstorm, a realization hit him, making him feel bitter. "Miss Rain, we should inform her family about this. I mean, her boyfriend. But sir, Wayan don't have any family." "What do you mean by she's a single mother, sir?" "What?" A whisper of disbelief left his mouth. "I think there's some misunderstanding." "No, sir. She herself told me she's only parent to her unborn." "Did she say anything about her child's father?" It's always a sensitive topic for her, so I didn't ask when she avoided this question. Without hearing any more words from Rain, he left from there. She stood there confused at her boss's behavior. First, he drove Wayan here while panicking. Now this. Does her boss know Wayan personally? Beating crazily, fast, too fast. After spending so much time with her, he clearly knew she's not a person who would cheat on someone. Then there's only one thing was left. Am I going to? Wayan was resting on the hospital bed when Taehyung entered the room. She expected him there too. She knew today she had to explain a lot of things to him. On the stool beside her bed, there was a brief moment of silence before he spoke. "Yesterday after I drove you, I saw you in arms of someone who I bumped into him due to rainwater. He's Jack, my neighbor." He nodded his head, understanding her words. This is my child, right? Our child? Yours and mine? Wai nodded her head, whereas his eyes became glossy. Our child, yours and mine. Did I ever say that I don't want kids, or I am not ready for kid, or I don't like kids? That you took the step of leaving after knowing about our child? It was never that, Taehyung. A month later, I left you, I came to know that I have conceived. Then why didn't you inform me? Why didn't you inform me I am going to be a father, Vayan? Why? Did you think I would accuse you of cheating after reading your note, or... I didn't. Then did you think I was unworthy of knowing this news? Did you? Never, Taehyung. How can you say this? Then what's the reason, Vayan? What? Because you were losing back-to-back deals because of me. Your focus shifted from your work to me. You were having loss. Sat there dumbfounded, whereas tears made their way to Vine's eyes. What? I was becoming a hindrance between you and your success, Taehyung. Don't you remember how before I left you kept staying at home as I got fever? That was not the first one. Before that also, you didn't went to work when I got food poisoning. I always get sick a little too often, Taehyung. If you always keep skipping your work because of me, then you will lose everything. You work hard for years now. So you left just saying you felt out of love. How stupid can you be, women? There I kept questioning what went wrong, what I did wrong, and here I got to know I just happened to fall for a stupid person. We are not teenagers, Vayan, that we should cut off relationships from our life just because we have to skip our work for our significant other. Once we become adults, we have to balance it, Vayan. That's the only solution. And the times I took off from work because of you, do you even remember how serious was your condition? You weren't even able to go washroom on your own, Vayan. It's not like I took off from work after seeing a slight fever on you. I have that much sense in me, Vayan. Won't you take a day off or days off if I get terribly sick? Why looked away knowing the answer. I know after your parents' demise you were taking care of yourself alone, but it doesn't mean you would consider yourself a hindrance in your lover's career. You deeply wounded me, Vayan, deeply. You even thought our child would be... I can't even say those words. Her heart hearing his painful voice. I was looking after your success by taking away my family from me. That's definitely a recipe of my destruction, Vagan, nothing else. When we didn't meet, the situation was different. I was happily single. I didn't seek for a partner. But after meeting you, spending time with this situation is whole different. I can't happily focus on work knowing there isn't a person waiting for me at home like before. Vian cried hearing him, knowing very well the feeling he was describing, as she was feeling the same from the past 6 months. I am sorry, Thay. I don't need your sorry, Vian. I don't. I want you to marry me right now in this hospital. I have missed 6 months of our pregnancy, Vian. I don't want to miss more. You don't have any choice, Vian. You don't. I don't want to have any choice too. Today when I fell, I wanted nothing but to stay in your arms. Her hand in his and placed a kiss on it. Don't even consider yourself a hindrance, Vian. Don't ever. If you again do this stunt, then there would be nothing worse than me, and mind you, our baby would be on my side too. She wouldn't be stupid like you. I hope so too, Taehyung. I hope so too. She brought his hand closer to her lips and kissed on it, being grateful and glad that he forgave her.